Okay, let's press record on our Audacity.
All right, do the countdown, my friend. It's your job.
2, 1.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, we have a very special guest again, and I'm so happy that you're here today.
Yeah,
So
our
excited.
resident ghost expert.
Yes,
Legit.
I am so excited.
Legitimate.
I don't know about an expert. I wouldn't call myself an expert.
Well, we would. So you
Yeah.
are.
You are compared to us.
Done. I know.
Our resident ghost aficionados. Is that a good word?
And also like a medium. I believe you're a medium. You are a medium.
Kind of. I don't know. I've never called myself that before, but
I know it's very official. I am only saying that because I'm reading a book on it right now. And that is like what you would call someone, right? Who can communicate, but you kind of have communicated with ghosts. You waved to that little friend ghost, your little 1930s buddy.
yeah,
With just a torso,
I can
no
communicate
legs.
right.
Right? Because that's not creepy
That was
at
weird.
all. That's really weird. I can't get that image out of my head, and I didn't even see the image, but you gave such a clear description of that. And by the way, if you want to listen, that was like episode 4, I think, that you were on, Ginger.
And I wouldn't have been waving. I would have probably been running the other way,
screaming, and
maybe possibly
fleeing
with some pee coming out of me.
Fleeing and peeing. Nice.
No, I totally want to draw him. I can still see him. Like I can still see what he looks like. I totally want to draw him.
Oh my gosh, do it.
Yeah.
Or like find a reference photo that looks similar to him, and then kind of combine the two. Crazy town.
Yeah, so, I'll have to.
So you have some new sightings? Is that what you're here to tell us about?
I do, and all of these have happened in the last probably 2 months.
Wow.
So things got kind of crazy in October.
What?
Yeah, and they're still kind of intense. So I actually had an experience just last week.
No way.
Oh, Ginger.
Yeah. So this is all. So I'll start with the first one that my husband experienced. So he travels quite often for work, back and forth to the Cherokee reservation that's near our house. And so he came home, and he was telling me one night that he was in the hotel, and he's on the bottom floor. He spent the night, obviously, and he's on the ground floor, and it has a patio where the patio door was. And he said he was afraid of people like looking in, but he wanted light in the room. So he closed the curtains, but left like a gap. He said about, 3 or 4 inches wide.
Oh.
Let the light in so the room wouldn't be pitch black. And so he goes to bed, and he said he wakes up sometimes.
I already don't like it.
He wakes up
something looking through that little gap. I don't leave a gap in a curtain. There's no way.
No gapping.
That's how things gonna look.
Yeah.
But he said he wakes up sometime during the night, he's laying there, I'll call like this, and he opens his eyes, and he sees someone standing at the curtain like this, like, looking at him like sideways, like they were really looking at him.
Ew.
And he thinks it's a real person. So he said, I don't move because I don't want them to see me in the room, because I don't want them like to break in or anything. And he says, so I'm real still. And he said, as my eyes started adjusting to the light in the room, he said, I realized that they weren't outside. And standing between the bed and the curtain, looking at him like this. Lucy's going crazy.
Oh my God. Ew.
There's no one else in my house. I have to sleep on my own tonight with like no animals.
Oh my God, my heart is literally like racing right now. What the fuck? That's not okay.
And he said he still thought for a minute it was a real person. But then he said, as he stood there, he said he realized that he could like see that they were transparent, that he could through them a little bit. And he said, so I still didn't move. He said, I was frozen. Like he said, I couldn't move. And he said he blinked a few times, and when he opened his eyes, it was gone.
Look at Lucy's face. Look at Lucy's face.
For those people watching on YouTube, just maybe don't watch on YouTube because it was like my ugly mug making lots of really super scared faces.
You just like froze like it was you in the story. That was hilarious. Oh my God.
I thought he was going to get up and walk away for a minute.
Seriously.
No. And he said, I don't know why, but I just went back to sleep. He said, I just don't know why I did that. He said, I guess I was tired. He said, but I just went back to sleep.
Okay. So
was the hotel on the reservation?
Yeah.
Was the person native? Indigenous?
He said he couldn't tell. He said because it was dark, and he said the figure was kind of dark. He said he did notice dark hair. He said, but he wasn't dressed like he was dressed modern. Like, so I really don't know. He said it was there and then it was gone. But yeah, that's one of the fun sightings.
That's the worst story I've ever heard. I hate that story.
Freaky. Wait, you know that if I wake up in the middle of the night tonight, which is quite too much information, quite normal for me, that I wake up in the middle of the night needing to go to the toilet or any of these things. I think I'm going to lie in my bed with my duvet over my head and refuse to open my eyes just in case there's somebody.
You need like a chamber pot so you don't have to leave your room.
Yeah.
She still has to get up though.
That's true.
A shiwi.
Yes. Yep. That's
a
right.
shiwi with like
a shiwi.
A tube that comes from my bed so that I don't even have to get out of bed.
They should invent something for women, because that's what happened to me on my Savannah trip. I had to pee in the middle of the night and I was too scared to get out of bed and go. And then I'm like, I just want to pee and go back to sleep.
Just turn the lights on.
Oh
no, because then you can see things.
Oh yeah, that's true. Also scary.
Do you know, I wonder whether that's why some old beds had like 4 posters with curtains around them, because I kind of feel like if I had a curtain around my bed, then there could be a party in my room of ghosts and I wouldn't see them, so it would be okay.
Until they parted the curtains and put the head in.
No! I feel like there's something behind me.
Just dump it there. Oh, okay.
All right. Well, speak of something behind you. So
why are we having this conversation when it's 9:30 at night on my own?
Well, it's only 4:30 here, so we're
you
fine.
chose the time. I told you.
Seriously, and
you have to watch something. You have to watch something light and fun before you go to bed.
I know. Yeah.
Speaking of something behind me.
Oh.
So, I'm at work last week. So I have a ghost at work, and I don't know if it's Lee or I do believe our building is haunted. Like there's a portion of our building that was built in the 60s. And then it was built in 3 different parts. And my office is in the middle. So it's in the section that was built like early 2000s, but I'm next to the 67 side. So I see a lot of times, so my office, the way I'm situated, I manage an information desk in a student union at a university. So my office is right behind the desk so that I can like be there if they need me. And so a lot of times I'm working at the desk. And so I'm standing there helping somebody, and I could see something like right in my office in my peripheral vision. So it looks like a student has walked into my office because it's very busy in there. I manage over like 160 student employees. So they're constantly coming in my office. So I see somebody come in and I don't look right away. I just see them standing there. And so I finish, I'm helping the person and I glance over and I don't see anything. But then I thought, okay, trick of the light or something. So I'm helping the person again. But every time I look away, I can still see them. Look directly, I can't. And so I see the person like standing there, and then they get closer, like to the doorway coming toward me. And I'm like, okay, that's weird, but it's okay. And I look around and the person that's standing in front of me doesn't notice. So they can't see. I don't know if it's because it was in my office that they just couldn't see in, or if they just can't see things. And then my student was standing beside of me, kept like looking behind me. Like she kind of kept turning. And so when the person walked away, I said, are you okay? And she said, yeah, I keep thinking that somebody's like walked into your office, but there's nobody there.
Oh, that's
both
so spooky.
saw it.
She was seeing it too. So later that evening or later that afternoon, I'm standing in the doorway of my coworker whose office is right beside of mine. So I'm just kind of standing in her doorway, kind of leaned on the door, talking to her. And I feel a hand on my shoulder, just like somebody behind me and puts their hand on my shoulder to get my attention.
No, there's no touch.
But the hand doesn't go away. I can feel it.
Mm-mm.
And so I see her, she's sitting at her desk. I see her look up. And then she looks back at me and I'm like, did you just see something? Like, and I looked around and there's nobody around. There's nobody down the hallway. We're by ourselves. And I looked and she said, yeah, I thought I saw some movement behind you. She said, but I don't think anybody walked by. I'm like, no, nobody's here. Mm-hmm. And I said, I felt a hand on my shoulder. And she's like, nope, stop.
Yeah. Wait,
yeah. She locks the building at night.
She locks the building or she walks?
She on her own?
She's the one that works till closing. So we close 11 o'clock every night. And so she's one of the ones that has to lock up the building.
Have you ever talked to her before about?
Oh, yeah. It's very well known that we have something in the building.
Oh,
but if it's Lee who follows you to work because he doesn't want to be left home alone and lonely, then he would come home again with you.
He would. He would. Yeah. There's definitely something there. I have turned a corner before, and you know how as you're walking and you turn a corner and there's somebody standing there and it's almost like you walk into them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Turn the corner. I've done that thinking that somebody's there, but nobody's there. Like, figure is there. You turn the corner and you're like, oh, I'm sorry.
Right.
Nobody there.
Ginger.
Yeah.
What do you mean a lot? Like once a week, a lot? Once a month?
Oh, it happens like, I don't know.
Every day?
Several times a week. I mean, it's often.
Oh my goodness.
God.
Ginger.
Jesus.
Ginger.
And does this happen equally to you and your coworker?
And our students that work, especially the ones who work at night, they talk about the building being haunted. Because the ones that have to lock up the old side of the building, they try to like
lock it up early or
they're like, you go lock it up tonight. I did it last night.
Oh, they should all go together. That's terrifying. And are you the only
one? Have they ever caught anything? Sorry, have they ever caught anything on like, if they got like CCTV or anything at night? You see those videos where buildings are where buildings are left alone at night and they
see things moving. Yeah, are things ever out of place
funny.
In the morning?
Well, it's hard to tell because our building is so big and it's so busy. It's kind of hard to tell if things are out of place or not. I think they really move anything. I think they just like to hang around.
Yeah.
But yeah, students talk a lot about feeling somebody walking behind them as they're locking the building up.
Has anyone put a name, like a fake funny name to this entity? Do you think it's just one ghost or do you think there's multiple?
I don't know. The ones that I have seen, like I've seen outline figures of them. They're shadowy. It looks like a male figure, the one that I keep seeing, because he's very big, very tall, and very boxy. So I really think it's a male figure.
That's terrifying. A big boxy male figure.
Oh, he's quite big. Yeah, I'm 5'9", and it's taller than me.
You're 5'9"?
I am.
Such a short arse next to you. Oh my goodness. I didn't realize that.
That's really,
5'3".
Really. Oh, you're a little short.
My daughter's 5'4".
Little Scottish.
Little Scottish runt.
Oi.
I can say that because I'm a whole inch taller than you.
At least you said runt and not something else. It sounds like runt.
You can't say that word.
You have fairy blood.
You
have fairy blood. That's why.
Yeah, that's it for sure.
Yeah.
Are you saying I'm a goblin?
No, you're a fairy blood.
A brownie.
A naked little hairy brownie. They're always naked. That's so scary. Is anyone, I mean, I would be terrified. And how old? I'm trying to think. I know what city you're in. Are there other, I've never been to the university there though. Is it an older school?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're one of the first universities. It used to be a teacher school, a teacher college. I think it was, my boss is going to kill me if he watches this and I don't know this information. I know.
Just say that you're being vague because you don't want to give out it specific because you don't want everyone racing to like find where you live.
It's good. Yeah, it's good. But I think it was been around since at least the early 1900s, if not the late 1800s.
Oh, okay.
School. My great aunt actually, both of my great aunts actually came here in the 1920s.
Oh, really? Yeah. Is it your sense? Are you sensing that this presence is old timey, or do you think it's more present? Do you get a time sense ever with your?
Sometimes
you do. Well,
this one's very. I can't get a sense of clothing
time period.
The clothing that I've seen it looks like almost like a plaid shirt, but there's a lot of plaid up here.
Yeah.
But
because Lee wears a plaid.
I don't think it's old. Yeah, Lee does wear a plaid shirt. But yeah, I don't think this one. And a lot of times when I see this one, it's just a black, shadowy kind of figure. So it's not very defined.
I was listening to I was listening to another podcast this week. I think it might have been the Paranormal Activity one, which is the one that Yvette Fielding hosts. She's from a very famous, most haunted TV show here in the UK that was on TV for years and years and years. And I think it was somebody, and she has people call in to her show. And I think it was that show that somebody was describing that they saw something in their living room that was like, the best way he could describe it was almost like it was an invisibility cloak, so he could see like the bottom of the ghost, but the rest of it was almost like it was cloaked in something, so it was like hidden, so there he could see the shape of a form underneath, but it was like everything was, it was like somebody was hiding inside an invisibility cloak. Isn't that spooky?
Yeah, sometimes it looks like, do you know in the summer, I don't know if it gets this hot in Scotland.
It never gets that hot in Scotland. Wherever hot you're going to say, it never does.
This is like the center of the earth.
In the summer, when you look at the sidewalk or the road, in the summertime, you see the heat coming off of it. So there's like weight. Yeah,
we never see that.
Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of, sometimes that's what it looks like. It looks like a distortion in the air.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't have a shape. It's just a distortion you can kind of see.
Karen, that's not that scary. If that was looking through your curtains, so it was just like a wee shimmer, that wouldn't be that scary.
Being attacked by animals.
I think I could deal with a little shimmer, shimmy shake.
I guess. I just prefer being around humans only.
But these are humans. They're just dead humans.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
I wondered whether my cat was going to haunt me.
Oh, Sabby.
I know. My poor cat died a few weeks ago.
Miss him.
I know.
He's not even my
and
cat.
there has been a couple of times that I've thought that I heard meowing. And then I was like, oh, but there's no cat. And I don't know whether it's just my imagination or whether he's like,
it's like wishful thinking.
Lurking is his spirit is lurking.
He could be. You've had him forever.
Yeah, I had him for nearly 20 years.
That's like hard to even imagine.
And I keep coming downstairs in the morning expecting to see him sleeping. Oh, so fun. He's not there anymore.
I know. Are you gonna get a new cat?
Gonna
get a dog?
I'm gonna get a dog.
Yeah. Watch out. Responsibilities are going to have a quick uptick. Holy moly. Where's my dog?
So I have another story. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah,
Yes.
of course we do. I feel like I should be drinking alcohol at
You
this
should
point.
be drinking alcohol. Look what I'm drinking.
okay.
These little babies. These are so
airplane bottles.
delicious.
Did you steal them? Did you steal them from the
No, I
liquor
bought
store?
them for my girls trip. I put them in cider and then I cook them up in my microwave. They're delicious.
Yum.
I know. What are you drinking, Ginger?
I have a glass of Drambuie.
Oh,
See?
Straight up Drambuie.
Thank you for not letting me drink alone.
I
No.
was so drunk on Drambuie when I was a teenager, before I was really supposed to be allowed to drink. I got so drunk on Drambuie that I vomited everywhere and had the super spins. And I probably could drink it now, actually. If someone gave it to me now, I'd probably be like, this is nice. But I couldn't even go anywhere near it for years. Like the smell of it
Yeah.
reminded me of my 16-year-old
self.
vomit party.
That was me and peach schnapps when I was 16 and then Goldschlager when I was 18. And those two things, to this day, I'm like, I'm good for life. I cannot.
Yeah.
Not even disgusting.
I've never gotten that drunk. I've never gotten sick off of alcohol before. So
you're lucky.
I've got the spins before, but I've never gotten that.
Only
sick.
the 2 times.
Oh. Yeah,
it's only twice.
I perfected the art when I was in college in the States. I perfected the art. I perfected the art of getting drunk all the time. I perfected the art of going to bed and sleeping with one foot on the ground outside my bed so that it would like level off the spins.
Oh, that's just
now see though, I can't do that because I was always afraid when I was a kid that something was under my bed.
Oh, probably because for you it was under your bed.
It probably was.
You're haunted by things all the time.
My brother used to tell me when I was a kid, he used to try to torture me and tell me that there was always something under my bed, and if I got up at night it would grab me if I let my feet dangle. So
the only things living under my bed in Oberlin were like fusty plates of food and dirty socks.
Oh, yeah. I was kind of naughty, but that's because also I think my parents were so straight laced. They're so square that it forced all 3 of their children into lots of normalness because we were all trying to break free from the perfect square that we were born into.
Karen, that's me as well. I think me and you are spirit animals.
I was like, these people are super boring. I'm not going to be like that. I'm going to be super fun instead.
I was afraid of my dad. I was too afraid of my dad to do anything. He was, but I saw my brother get in so much trouble, and I knew what not to do, and I knew how not to get caught doing things. So.
Yeah, that was me. My brother and sister were like a circus show when I was the youngest. So I got away with murder. I'm like, they're just dumb. They just did everything loud and obnoxiously. And so by the time my time came around, I just perfected I'm like, just don't do what they were doing. And I was just as naughty as they were. I was just awesome at covering my tracks. My parents were so dumb. They had no idea what was going on.
I think my mom and dad did have an idea.
Oh, my parents had, to this day, I have absolutely no idea. None, zero, not even 1%.
My son has told my mom a few of the things.
Oh,
because of course I was like, when I was your age, I did this and this and this, and told him all these like funny stories, and then he would go around my mom's for dinner
and tell on you.
I'd be like, my mom just told me that she did this and this and this. Tell on me.
That's funny. I know it's interesting though how this generation is like so much. I don't know. My kids are much better behaved than I ever was, or my siblings.
So is mine.
But COVID kind of threw a wrench in their normal teenage years too. So there's that, sadly. But anyways, I want to hear another ghost story. What do you got?
Okay. So, well, speaking of kids, so, you know, my middle daughter is at her senior year at a little private school near Asheville. And for her senior year, she and her roommate, I think I told you this before, they wanted to live in the haunted dorm. their senior year.
Mm.
So she came home for fall break in October, and I said, so have you had any like experiences yet? And she's like, no, I haven't. She said, we thought we had a ghost in our room because the drawer and the desk kept coming open. She said, but then we found out the floor is uneven. She said, once we fixed like the desk, like balanced it out, it stopped doing that. And she said, then I wear my earphones down the hallway so I can't hear anything. I was like, well, you're just defeating the purpose, you know? And she's like, well, I feel like somebody's like walking behind me. She said, but I think it's my imagination. So because the stories that have been told about her dorm is that they hear footsteps in the hallway on the bottom floor heading to the community kitchen.
Mm.
So they think that, you know, that's where they hear things. And she said, so I just wear my earphones in the hallway. She said the other night, she came home for Thanksgiving and she said, so Mom, I do have a story for you now. She said, I went downstairs, wanted to fill my water bottle up in the kitchen. And she said, it was late. And she said, so I went downstairs and she said, all the lights in the hallway were off. And she said, normally there's at least one side of the hallway that's lit up. She said, but for some reason this time the lights were all off. And she said, so I was walking to the kitchen and she said, I kind of felt weird. She said, but, you know, thought it was my imagination because, you know, I'm in a dark hallway and the building's supposed to be haunted. And she said, and I forgot my earbuds. And she said, but I just kind of walked really fast down the hall, went to the kitchen. And she says, I'm filling the water bottle up. She said, I saw someone come from the first room next to the kitchen. She said, I saw somebody go out of the room and come into the kitchen, but they didn't turn the light on. And she said, I finished filling my bottle up and I looked around and she said, I was by myself in the kitchen.
Ooh.
I knew I saw somebody. And she said, I just booked it out of there. She said, but I totally saw somebody walk from that room. And she said, when I got to that room, she said, I just ran past it really fast.
Well, that's what I would do. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Run past
Oh
screaming.
my goodness. How many people live in that dorm room? Is it a big dorm?
I don't think it's very big. Maybe 40 people, if that. It's a very small school. So most of the buildings are really small. Maybe 30, 40 people.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask her. But as she was telling me the story, so we're sitting in my living room on the couch, and I have a great room. So you can see the couch is in the middle of the sitting area. And then over here to my right is the dining room's kind of behind me. And then the kitchen's right there. And there's a bar that separates the rooms. And so as she's talking to me, I'm looking toward the kitchen kind of area. And our dog is sitting between us on the couch. And we're by ourselves. Her brother's in his bedroom. My husband went back in our bedroom for something. And we're just kind of sitting there talking about the story. And I see a shadow go from the dining room into the kitchen. And as soon as I see it, she doesn't stop talking. She just turns her head like this to the kitchen and she looks back at me and she kind of smiles and she's like, okay, then. And then she keeps going on her story. And I was like, no, back it up. What just happened? Like what just happened? And she said, well, I thought I saw Dad walk behind me into the kitchen, you know, from the hallway. She said, but it wasn't him. He's not there. And I said, no, I totally saw it too. She's like, you saw it too? So I'm not like seeing things. Like, no, I saw it too. And around that time, the dog between us kind of sat up and looked into the kitchen like, hey, I'm going to get a treat. Like he got really excited.
So everybody saw. Was it Lee?
I believe it was. Yeah. Yeah, I believe it was. But yeah, the dog,
we know he's friendly though.
And a few minutes later, he just kind of sat.
He's just grabbing a beer from the fridge.
Yeah.
He's just hanging like he always does.
Yeah, he likes to hang out. The kitchen's kind of a U shape in that spot, and he likes to hang out like in that little corner by the stove and the bar.
And how often are you seeing him these days? And is your brother still? Is your brother? Is your husband still sensing him too?
Yeah. So funny part when my husband actually did come out, and we told him, like, my daughter said, Lee's in the kitchen, Dad. Like, so to let you know. And he's like, oh, well, he was downstairs a little while ago.
Really?
And his office is down here. And so he said, I went to my office to do some work. And he said, I walked into my office and he was sitting in my chair.
Oh my
Oh my
gosh.
goodness.
I could see him sitting in my chair. He said, so I just turned around and came back upstairs.
Oh my God.
Ah.
I wonder if we podcast with you enough if we'll catch Lee on an episode.
That would be amazing.
Can you
and
imagine?
it's really
You just
scary
see
at the
him,
same
he comes
time.
on.
See him kind of walk behind me.
No.
Just like I'm looking at the back of you, Ginger. I'm not actually looking at your face now. I'm just gonna look at that back bit. See if there's like a little
this,
hand pops out.
yeah, behind this is my little art space. So behind this cabinet, around the corner is the stairs that go upstairs. And so my husband's office is like to my left, and my daughter's bedroom is straight in front of me.
So he hangs out mostly in the kitchen. Does he? Where
kind
else?
of in the kitchen, in the hallway between the bedrooms. So the way upstairs is laid out, there's, you know, the hallway, and my room and my son's room are across from each other. And we've seen him go in and out of the bedrooms before. Him like go up and down the hallway before.
I don't.
When you say you see him, what do you see? Do you see like a little shimmy shake, shimmy
shake,
or do you see like a physical, actual 3D person, or what do you see?
It really depends. So there are times that I can see a near solid form. He's never been completely solid for me. He's been transparent, but solid enough that I can see his features, and because I know it's him. I can see his clothing, and so I can tell that it's him, but never really fully solid. Sometimes I see a blur that goes by.
Right.
And sometimes it's just
I'm trying to hold it together.
I'm eating her hair because she's so scared.
I need like a leather wallet to clench while I listen.
No, he's not scary at all. He's not frightening at all. I feel comfortable, more comfortable with him around, because it feels like there's somebody in the house with me. So when my husband does travel and I'm here by myself, you know, when the kids were little, I felt more safe with him here. And so when he sees him in his office, like the other day, he was in the chair, he goes back down to work, and he said he's sitting at his computer and he's working, and he sees him over in the corner, and he doesn't go away. He's just kind of like hovering there. And Ellen's like, I don't care if it's Lee or not. I don't want you like watching me. So he comes back upstairs and stays. So that's been recent. I messaged you guys where he was messing with my son. My son's sitting at his desk, and his desk, he has like an L-shaped desk in his room where his computer is. And he's a teenage boy. So there's bottles, like drink bottles everywhere.
Oh God, everywhere.
What do you mean teenage boy drink bottles everywhere? I'm not a teenage boy and I have drink bottles everywhere. Not limited to teenagers, you know.
Yeah. But I came out one night, from taking my shower, and my son's sitting in the living room, which is very rare because he's always in his bedroom. Mm-hmm. I said, what are you doing? He said, I thought I'd sit out here with you guys for a while. I'm like, what's going on? And he said, well, I'm sitting at my desk and I'm playing my video game. And he said, the soda bottle that is on this side of the desk, he said, I can't reach it side of the desk, starts like rocking like this, like rocking like somebody's moving it. Yeah. And he said, nothing is vibrating in my room. He said, my desk isn't moving, nothing's going. And he said, and it's just going really fast, like vibrating on my desk. And he said, so I thought I'd come and sit with you for a while.
Oh my God. No, thank you. No, thanks. Do your kids call him Lee too? Like, does everyone just?
Yeah, everybody calls him Lee.
Has everyone? Has everyone like laid eyes on his big shadow shape? Or
everybody has seen him. Yeah.
Everybody has.
Everybody in the house has seen him. Yeah.
Have you ever tried to photograph or video?
I have. I did get something, and I cannot find the picture. This was years ago because we've been in the house for like 16 years now. This was toward the beginning, and it was an accident. I was taking a picture of my dog in the recliner, and the hallway was like behind the recliner. and I could see there was an orb at the back of the hallway. And as you zoomed in on the picture, the orb had a face. And I have been looking for this picture now for like a year, and I still can't find it. It's somewhere. I think it might be on my old computers that no longer on.
Ginger. Oh my God. Because the Paranormal Activity podcast that I was listening to, Beth Fielding was describing how she had a photo taken at some event. I think it was her 40th birthday or something. And there was an orb above and behind her.
Yeah.
And when she zoomed in on the photograph, the orb had a face of her father who passed away.
Oh my God.
That's so awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
So you saying that the orb had a face? That's
the orb
like
had a face. Yeah. The orb had a male face.
Like two things happening the same in different people's experiences. And you obviously haven't listened to that podcast, so you didn't know she'd said that in that podcast.
No. I listened to you guys, and I listened to Uncanny. Those are the only two.
Uncanny is so good.
Uncanny is so good. And you need to listen to lore. I'm obsessed with lore.
I love lore.
It's like my bedtime.
Yeah.
Well, no, not
I need
bedtime.
I need to broaden my horizons on
we're not really that good, actually. But maybe don't listen to anyone else, because then you'll be like, oh my God, they're so not good. Why am I listening?
No. Absolutely.
Yeah, you realize what proper podcasts are supposed to sound like when you hear other people.
I've listened to some before. I just never continued listening to them because they were boring.
So while we're on the subject of orbs, I just came back from a girls' trip to Savannah.
Yes.
And we did
we need to hear all about that.
So we went on a haunted pub crawl.
Yes. Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. And first of all, I'll just give you the top 3 fucked up things that happened during that evening. Number 1 was that when we were in the middle of the pub crawl, we are in a bar called Abe on Lincoln, and I was it's on Lincoln Street, and it is a bar. And when you are in the bar, the whole entire thing is like every shred of it is covered with napkins, drawings of Abraham Lincoln.
I saw that photo.
Yeah, so now, here's so if you can see behind me, it's every beam, it's all exposed beams, and every shred of the bar is covered in napkins that all have drawings of Abraham Lincoln on them. So
my American history is rubbish. Did he actually visit Savannah or do stuff in Savannah? Or
I have no idea what the act. I wasn't listening because I was too busy drinking and drawing Abraham Lincoln, as you do when you're in a pub and you're an artist and your whole job is to but you know so the first thing that was fucked up is that the electricity went out in half of the city of Savannah while we were on our pub crawl. So all of a sudden I'm in here. So if you notice, the lighting is weird. It's because there was the electricity cut out. So, and if you don't know Savannah, it's already like a ghost filled city as it is. So it's a little spooky when it's 10 o'clock at night and you're learning about ghosts and the electricity is cut. Now, my last trip to Savannah, when I went to go drive home, I got in my car and my electricity was out in my car and I couldn't start my car to go home. And it never fully recovered, even though my car was 1 year old. Thank you. I actually ended up having to get a new car last year because my electrical system never righted itself after my trip to Savannah. So there's something fucked up with me and electricity in Savannah. So that was number 1. Number 2 was then we went to a cemetery because we couldn't go drink in the bars because there was no electricity. So they couldn't accept our payments. But our tour guide, who is going to come on our podcast, Lucy. So I'm going to refrain from describing him.
Is he hot?
He's all in. Well, I can't say that because he'll be on the podcast, but I'm going to say no, because I'm married, no other reasons. And so we went to this cemetery, which is closed at night, but you can walk all around the perimeter and see in. And he told us the story of all the horrible ways that people died. There was a plague, there's mass graves, there's all sorts of horror and doom and disease. But he let us know that if you use your camera, you can see orbs. And we totally did. So we have all these like orb pictures that showed up on our cameras while we were photographing. That one actually looks like a penis. Do you see that?
Oh, it's even got hairs on it.
But these are supposed to be the ghosts of these 3 children.
Ghosts of 3 penises? I
No,
thought you were gonna say
3 children, but it's so weird because I have videos of him like using other people's phones to show them if they use their phones, they can see them. And like, sure enough, there they were. But this is so creepy. Somebody took this picture. No, but this doesn't look like an orb. This actually looks like the outline of like a toddler, like from behind. And there's supposed to be these 3 children that died during some plague. Which I don't know if you can see that, but I see
I totally see it.
It looks like a little Lego person.
Yeah, I totally see it.
I know. So we were totally photographing these things. Like, it was so weird because you're looking with your eye, you're like, you see nothing. And then as soon as you started taking pictures, you could look at it and you see these things show up. So what do you think about that, Ginger? Is that like a thing?
It's awesome. No, that's a thing. That's a thing.
So weird. They're in all the pictures. Look at that.
So you hear a lot that
no way.
Skeptics are going to tell you that orbs are
like refractions of light and stuff,
or dust particles or something like that, which they can be. But if you really, so the ones that I've taken, if you really zoom in on them, the orbs look like they're alive. Like there's energy flowing inside those orbs. And so they look very different than what a dust particle would look like. Or a hair that's, caught in front of the camera.
They also move differently as well, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, they're moving all around. So it was so creepy, freaky. So that was the second weird thing that happened that night. And then the third really weird thing, when I took a picture of my friend Margot to remind me to remember the next day, which was, it was like 11 o'clock. We had been like drinking and touring for 3 hours. We were like all done. They the tour concluded in this, the best way to describe it is like a high-end convenience store. It was actually part of a gas station, but because they have such strict like historical building codes in Savannah, it was like super nice inside. It was like almost like a gift shop mixed with like a convenience store. So it was super nice. I bought like a pillow, like I bought like some random thing in there. And so we're all leaving. We're all done. We're like excited to get out of there. And so there was 5 of us all together, and there was other people in the store as well. And so there was a guy in front of us who was getting gas. He bought something. He just happened to be in front of us in the line. So we all kind of exited together en masse. Like this dude was just ahead of us walking, and then we were behind him. And my friend Margot shouts out to this guy and goes, "Hey, you're Tony from New York City." And this guy turns around and he was like, "What the hell?" He was like, "How did you know my name? I haven't talked to, like, I don't know who you are. I haven't said anything." And she just looks at us and she goes, "Why did I just say that?" She goes, "What did I say that?" And he was like, "No, I really am Tony. And I really am from New York City." And she was like, "What made me say that?" Like she was looking around, like searching for an answer. Like, why did I just say that? I have no idea what compelled me to just have that come out of my mouth. And we were like, "I don't know." And that was super the craziest thing of all.
That is so strange.
Right? It was super weird.
It's like somebody else was channeling inside her and making her say that.
It was so crazy. And that's why her picture is like, we were like dying because she was like she said it and then she like smacked her hands out of her mouth. Like, who made me say that? Like, that wasn't me. You know what I mean? And she just blurted it out. And he was like super animated and was like, "What the hell? That's super crazy." Like he was like laughing because he was like, "That's really weird. Why do you know me? Like, I never said that." And she was like, "I don't know. It just came out." How weird is that?
Oh my goodness.
That's awesome. So that
weird.
reminds me of an experience that we had. And this is another husband experience that he probably won't like me telling, but I'm telling.
We won't tell.
He doesn't listen to this podcast.
Ginger. He doesn't know. You can tell us
Yeah.
anything. You can tell us his dirty secrets and he wouldn't know.
Well, we were in Hawaii once, and we went on a ghost tour, and he was making fun of it the whole time. Like, he even wore a Ghostbusters t-shirt with him because he was making fun of it. And so we're in a van with everybody, and we were making these stops, and there was a part of it was the palace on Oahu that we were at, and across down from the palace is like a little graveyard that we walk through. And so of course we're taking pictures and stuff, and I really didn't get much from the graveyard. When we're walking toward the palace, and on the palace grounds, there's a gazebo. And so he's totally making fun the whole time that we're out. And then as the guy was talking and telling us about like the grounds and stuff, he just got like super serious and started asking like these really good questions about the property and about the castle and all of these things. Like, he went from being just obnoxiously like funny, really serious, and asking these like very thoughtful questions, which he's very thoughtful and serious anyway. And he's also funny. So I'm just kind of looking at him like, wow, okay, you're just getting into this. Cool.
Right.
And so after he does his spiel, we kind of all spread out, and we're all walking around the grounds. Well, I watched my husband walk away from me, which he doesn't usually do when we're out like that. And so I kind of follow him, and he walks over to the gazebo, and he's walking around the gazebo and just kind of really looking at it, because it's really pretty. It's very hand carved, very, really pretty gazebo. And he's walking around it, and he just kind of looks at me, but he doesn't look at me. It's like almost he's looking like past me a little bit, looking at me, which I thought was really strange. So we're walking around, and then we walk across the street, because there's supposed to be a haunted building across the street. So we're standing in front of the statue that's in front of the building. And all of a sudden he grabs my arm, and I look at him, and he says, "Oh, thank God you're the one standing beside of me." I was like, "What is going on with you?" And he's, "How did I get here?" I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "I don't remember." He said, "The last thing I remember is we were in the graveyard."
Oh my goodness.
What?
He said, "It's like I
Somebody
just
took
woke up."
over.
He said, "I just like woke up. Like, what's going on? How did I get here? I'm really freaked out right now." And I'm like, "Well, let me just tell you what you just did." And he's like, he still won't talk about it.
Oh, that is
so
really freaky.
But yeah, he was, it was weird, because it's like he got really serious, and even the way he walked was a little different. And I just kind of followed him around like, what is he doing? And he was
how long did that last for? Like what, 10 minutes?
5-10 minutes maybe. Yeah, not very long at all. Not very long at all.
And he won't talk about it. We're gonna have to have him on and ask him a few questions about that.
You were actually married to someone else for those 10 minutes. You had a different husband and you didn't even know it.
I know.
I feel like these entities follow you and your husband both, though.
Yeah.
I find that so interesting.
Yeah, I really do. And I've tried to find out like why me?
You're like, yeah, right. What do you think?
It's almost like I laugh a lot of times and say that I'm a beacon, because it feels like they're attracted. Like I see them everywhere, but I don't think it's me in particular. I think it's just that I notice them, that I can see them, feel them, and I notice them more than most people do. I really just think that they're everywhere. But I've read, and from what I can understand, from what I can understand is that they can also feel energies. So what a ghost is, what a spirit is, it's a spirit of somebody. And we all vibrate, like everything is energy, right? Everybody is energy. The slower the energy vibrates, the more solid things are. What is it? Am I talking weird now?
I'm just sorry to interrupt, because it is super interesting, but I just totally freaked myself because I thought, oh my God, what if I like look at my camera? So I'm looking at my own cam and I see something behind me coming through the door
don't do
while
that.
I'm speaking to you. And then I just totally give myself like a shiver up my spine. And then I just ended up freaking myself out. Sorry, continue, Ginger. It is super interesting. But I am gonna have to watch like an episode of Friends or something before I go to bed
please
tonight.
Yeah,
please do.
Yeah, you'll definitely have to do that.
Yes,
but no, I think everybody, so the slower we vibrate, the slower our energy vibrates, the more we can see, right?
The more we can see, or the more
we can see. So the more solid things are.
Wait.
Spirits don't have a body.
Right.
So there's nothing holding their vibration slow. So they can vibrate at a higher frequency.
Okay. So this is like fourth dimension shit that you're talking about.
Is that what it's called?
I think so. Right?
Yeah.
Isn't there like the fourth? They're like in another dimension, but that makes sense with the vibration. I know nothing about quantum physics, but from what I understand, people talk about this stuff. So they vibrate at a higher resonancy. That's not the word. What's that word?
Frequency.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Frequency.
Yes.
Residency is different.
But I think they know or sense or something, the sensitive people, like I think they can, and they
pick up on that.
They tend to like be more attracted to those people,
or like attuned to those different frequencies.
Do you think that the more sensitive people also vibrate at a slightly different frequency? And then that's
that would make sense. That would make sense to me. Because I know when I am more aware of what's happening around me, I'm more relaxed. If I'm stressed out or if I'm like super tired or just not like feeling well, I'm not as in tune to it.
Yeah.
If I'm kind of at a non-stress, like relaxed situation, then I can tune into it a little bit easier.
That makes sense too, because from listening to the Modern Fairy Sightings podcast so much, Lucy, she talks so much about like almost entering altered states during like meditation or even using like whatever psychedelics. But even when you're not using psychedelics and you're just going into a meditative state, it seems to be super, if for a lot of the people that have sightings, that's when that occurs, whether they're doing that intentionally or they just happen to be like sitting and daydreaming and mind their own business. They're obviously more in tune, just like being in a relaxed state and then seeing them that way. Right.
And then also if you were going down the psychedelics route, that there are parts of your brain that aren't accessed on a normal daily basis. Like there's so much of the brain function that's closed off. And actually that's what psychedelics to some degree access. So they open up parts of your brain that aren't normally accessed. So that's why you can, see things moving or see colors that you never saw before, or all of those kinds of things. And so it would make sense that what we see isn't what we think, that what we see on a normal daily basis
is everything,
right. and is the truth of what there is. But actually what you see and what I see could be two completely different things, and we don't know because we're not seeing through each other's eyes. And it's a well-known fact that animals see differently from us. You've seen all those memes or studies where it's like, this is what a certain animal, I can't remember what ones they are, but like this animal sees the universe like this, and it's like almost like a kaleidoscope, or this animal
there's
sees
like
the universe
insects,
like this,
like
and it's
spiders have like
and it's just black and white, or
right.
so
And it's more than just sight too. It's like sound, like there's dog whistles that humans can't hear at all, right? And dogs can.
Yeah.
Like you can see and hear different spectrums depending on what species you are. I know it's so arrogant of humans to be like, this is all there is. And like,
so actually there could be a whole host of stuff going on in this universe that we live in that we do not even see on a normal daily basis.
Well, Ginger sees it.
So Ginger sees it. But like,
I see all of it, but I can't see some of it.
That occasion where you see something could be that thinning of the veil, that thinning of the veil where like something, like we're getting a glimpse into it, whether that is it's there all the time and we just don't see it because of the way that our eyes work. You know, you hear people saying, oh, like certain animals can only see in black and white, or they can only see this much and they can't see anything over here or whatever. And us as humans, us arrogant humans, speak about that like it's these poor animals that have restricted vision, but maybe we've got restricted vision. And there's all this stuff that we just don't see.
I 100%. How
ghosties that are might be floating around right
you're high-fiving them all right now as you do that with your hand.
What in the eye? Oh no, that's a bit low for the eye. I'm poking one somewhere else.
You're poking someone in their belly button right now. So my only question then is, when it comes to these entities, I feel like I need to shut my door. My kids are like, what the hell is my mom talking about?
Like you also need to shut that door behind you, because I keep expecting to see a hand poking out from behind it.
There's someone in the hallway right now. Are you a ghost or a child? See, it's a child. Do you think I'm crazy? Can you shut the doors? I didn't even hear what you said, but yeah. Okay, God. Can you shut the doors? Yeah, you don't hear.
I also feel like
yes, it is legit crazy rambling.
To turn around and look behind me, but in case there's something behind me, but I can't do it because I have a there.
I didn't know my dog would just keep shooting out of the room. I didn't even know she was in there. There's my furry ghost entity. So my question was, when the ghosts take on these more physical forms, like when they're touching your shoulder, and like the ghost of the Savannah Hotel, when they tickles people's feet, like what is that about? Because that's more than just seeing a different dimension or seeing, like, are they changing the frequency of their energy at that point? So they're more, they must be solid if a human can detect their touch, right? That's what I get obsessed about.
It's not solid. It's actually, for what my theory is that it is their vibration. It is their energy, which I think is why they mess with electricity more than anything else, because it's easier for them to send their vibration into that section and like mess with the electricity. To make things, because if you make something vibrate
that's also energy. Yeah.
Right. If you make something vibrate on a table, it will move.
Right.
So I think they're sending that vibration to something. And it's funny because you can feel your own vibration if you want to. So one of the things that I usually tell people to do is you can put, I don't know if I told you this or not, but you can like put your hands together and then pull it out.
Oh yeah. I think we talked about that.
So you can feel your energy kind of collecting in the palm of your hands, and then you start to tingle. So your hands tingle. That's your energy. And so I think like the hand on my shoulder, there wasn't really a hand obviously on my shoulder, but I felt something there that brain thought was a hand. It was just a vibration. I think that was just concentrated in that one.
So I have a question or a proposition or a theory. Maybe what we perceive in our universe, our vision as ghosts, maybe they aren't ghosts. Maybe they aren't the spirits of dead people. Maybe they are beings living in our universe that normally are closed off to our vision because of the different vibration. Maybe they're actually living in parallel with us and they're not actually dead things. Maybe they're alive things.
Maybe they're both.
Maybe they're both.
I know that there are dead things because I've seen them and I've experienced them. Like I was, sitting in the living room the other night and I smelled cigarette smoke very heavily. Nobody in my house smokes. No one in my house smokes. But I felt like I was enveloped with cigarette smoke so much so that I started getting stopped up because I'm allergic to tobacco. So my eyes were watering and I looked at my husband. I was like, "Do you smell that?" And he's like, "Smell what?" I said, "I smell cigarettes." And he's like, "No, are you okay?" I was like,
"Oh, that's so weird."
So I'm texting my son who's in his room. I was like, "You're not smoking, are you?" And he's like, "No, I don't smoke." And I go back there and just kind of like open his door to see like
make sure because it smells. Yeah.
And you live in the countryside as well. So it's not like there would be a next door neighbor right next to you.
So how do you, what is that then?
I think somebody that had been a smoker was around me.
Like Lee, you mean?
I don't think Lee. No, I don't think it was Lee. I don't think I've never.
Good boy.
He's around. I think it was somebody else. Yeah, no, I think it was somebody else.
Too good. Lee's too good. Good man. Be a smoker.
I've never smelled that with him, but I
can imagine you going up to like him in the kitchen,
being like,
"Lee, let me smell you. Have you been smoking?"
My husband then would think I've lost my mind.
And then God. Lee's like standing there with the air freshener, going, "No!" Spraying his plaid shirt because
that you see his air freshener.
How do you explain that? I'm digging the whole vibration.
That's a normal thing, Karen. That is a really normal thing for people to smell the smell of like cigar smoke or perfume or cigarette smoke with ghosts. That's like a well documented fact.
Yeah, I've smelled my grandfather before. So very specific. He passed away when I was 14 and he was my moon. Like we were very, very close. And I was standing in the grocery store. I was probably in my early 20s. And I was standing in the grocery store and I smelled him. And he smells very like he smelled of Crest toothpaste and Old Spice cologne. Like,
that's actually super cute.
And I totally smelled him. And I went up and down the aisles, like next to me, looking who smelled like that. And there was nobody there. I was the only person in that part of the store.
Did you go like this? Did you go, "I just want to give you a big hug"?
Why have I not heard of this smelly ghost before? Why is this new? Like I've been hitting ghost podcasts as hard as I possibly can. And this is the first time I'm hearing this.
There's actually a word for it. And I can't remember what it is. Like somebody who can sense them, I think are called like clairsentience. It depends on your senses. And there's actually words like the people who can hear them shoot, I can't remember the name of it. It's got audio in it. In the title.
I'm gonna Google.
Yeah, there's a whole list. There's a whole list of things that are named. So people can taste certain things, or
just Googled. Can I just say?
Yeah, of course.
I just Googled and I started by typing in, "What do you call someone who can smell?" And I'm just about to write ghosts.
Yeah.
And then the auto suggestions.
Yeah.
Was, "What do you call someone who likes to smell farts? What do you call someone who loves the smell of books? What do you call someone's smell?"
What the heck? I know. I didn't know that the smell was a thing. I really didn't. Although it makes, I feel super dumb.
To the name of being able to detect smells that aren't really there is called phantosmia.
Yeah, I don't think that's what.
No. And then the next Google below that says, "What does a ghost smell like?" The lingering scent of Old Spice aftershave.
Oh, is that what it says?
No, it does not.
It does.
Oh my God. But
It
how?
does.
So I get the frequency of sights, but what would explain the frequency of smell? Like what is, oh, here we go. What causes olfactory hallucinations? Yeah, it's phantosma.
But that's different from smelling a ghost.
I know, because
Karen.
that's, well, that, right. The olfactory hallucination makes her detect smells that aren't really present in your environment. But I'm assuming you are then smelling that in your environment, right? They're just in the fourth dimension. Let's just call it what it is. Let's scientific this shit out. Are phantom odors the work of ghosts or merely coincidence? I have so much Googling to do. I am actually really excited about this. Wow. Unless it's the article by NBC.
This is where the Lucy's newfound ability to edit parts of our podcast come in super handy.
Here. Yep. This whole
and Karen
section
was like, I'm not doing any editing. I was like, we seriously need to edit like some of this, like this like 10-minute pause while we're looking for something online.
Oh my gosh. I really need to read this article.
Did you notice an increase in our professionalism sound, or does it not make any difference whatsoever?
Oh, you have to ask that to Ginger, because
that's why I'm asking. Ginger.
I was like, I can't listen to this nonsense anymore. I'm gonna go listen to a good podcast.
Oh, so say, ask me that again, because I wasn't.
Did you notice a difference in the way that we sound in terms of production in the last few weeks since I was like, we're going to try and edit?
We splurged like a whole $7 a month for this service that makes us sound hopefully less like shit and more even. So Lucy was wondering if you can hear, we really struggled with audio for like the first 27 of our episodes. And then can you hear it?
I can totally tell you that. Yeah, I can totally tell you that your audio is much better than these.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes, best $7 ever. Why didn't we?
So we did. We paid for this thing where it evens our audio out, and then also I was trying to just. It's not like I spent ages editing because like who's got time for that? But I was trying to like cut out the bits where we like we're
this
super
part
awkward. Like
right now, this part right now is this like this kind of stuff. You're not picking up what I'm putting down because she's too busy Googling ghost smells.
So I didn't know whether we sounded more professional in terms of editing and sound than we had before.
The signs of good editing is that I didn't notice.
Yes.
So if I noticed that there were things that were cut out, that means it's good editing.
Okay.
And I think you're also asking two different questions, Lucy. One, does it sound better? And two, do we sound less like morons? And I think, yes, our sound probably sounds better. And we still sound like idiots that we are. Very different categories.
No.
I like that you tried to blend them together, like as if your editing could like change us as humans, but sadly
no. I did cut out a whole bit the other week where Sean came in and like spoke shit into the camera for 2 minutes.
Oh yeah. We had to like start over because he was so bad. So bad. I asked him yesterday, I'm like, we should retry that, and he was like, I'm never doing it again, you were so mean. I'm like, because you were so bad. If you weren't as bad, I wouldn't have had to be so mean about it. But anyway, all right, smells. Let's get back on track.
So it's clear scent. It's I just found it. It's clear scent, and it's the awareness of a smell with no apparent physical cause.
Oh.
And then
I can't.
There's clairvoyance, which is knowing what's going to happen like next.
Mm-hmm.
Clairaudience is where you can hear things.
Oh.
And then clairsentience is where you can feel things.
Ooh.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah, it is.
And then there is, and I don't know how to pronounce this very well, so I'm going to butcher it. It's clairgustance. Clairgustance
You can like taste
of a particular taste, and that when that food is not in your mouth.
That's like the opposite of COVID then.
Right. Right.
That's funny. Yeah.
So, yeah.
But like maybe because we can't destroy or create energy, all the taste buds from the people from COVID get moved into somebody else's taste buds momentarily, and that person's like, oh no, what is that? I taste burger in my mouth. And they don't know where it came from. And some poor bugger with COVID, the street down this house next to them is like, I can't taste my burger anymore.
So what about something like a poltergeist that has way physical things and that a lot of people can hear and that can like knock on walls and like
they're fairies, Karen. Come on, we figured that one out.
I know the problem with these questions is they lead for me more questions.
Questions.
I know.
I really don't know. Those are the ones that really fascinate me. I'm not really.
Yeah. Did you listen to the Battersea? Hi, honey. Did you listen to the Battersea Poltergeist series, Ginger?
Say that? No, I did not.
Oh, you need to listen to that. It is so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's done by the same guy that does Uncanny.
Mm-hmm.
It's written by the same guy. He's so good. Danny Robbins.
Yeah, he did it first. Mm-hmm. And when he finished it, he was like, what do I do now? And then he started Uncanny. But
there's another one that he's done.
Oh,
there's another one called Unexplained.
Oh, God.
That he did before he did Battersea Poltergeist. It's like a few years old. It's from like 2017 or something. And it's only got maybe 6 or 10 episodes, but it's ghost stories again. And it's a super good one.
Oh, I did not know that. Yeah, I do. Yeah. I just started listening to Bad Women.
It's so good.
Really good. Yeah. It's all about the victims of Jack the Ripper.
Oh, yeah.
Not about Jack the Ripper. It is, but it's not.
I went on a Jack the Ripper tour in London.
Oh, you did? You
would like
tour.
It then. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's about how these women actually weren't prostitutes necessarily, and they've just been labeled as prostitutes, but there's actually a whole backstory about how they ended up, if they were prostituting themselves, which actually she implies that some of them weren't. They were just sleeping rough, or they were homeless or whatever. But what led them in their lives to end up in the situation they were, because some of them actually came from okay houses to begin with. Mm-hmm. And like what led them down that path that ended them in a vulnerable place, that ended them up becoming one of the victims of Jack the Ripper. It is so interesting.
It's really interesting.
I'll have to check.
Did you notice? I think the woman lives in the States, but she's English. And did you notice she does that thing that I do when I'm in the States, where there was a couple of episodes where she was talking to an American, and her accent started changing, and she started becoming more and more American sounding.
That's funny. I'm only on the 3rd episode, so I haven't.
Oh, are you? I binged like all the ones that are available so far.
That's awesome. I can't wait to. I'm excited to do it. I actually do it a lot when I'm like cooking and doing laundry, and then like someone will come in and like I feel like I get interrupted every minute, and I want to be like, oh, this podcast is so good. Like, can you not talk to me? And I'm like, oh wait, this is my family. Be nice. Like they're like saying hi to you, Mom. But I get super into those. They're really good.
Sasha walked in the other day when I was making dinner, and I was listening to a podcast, UK true crime podcast. Mm-hmm. And he walked in right at the minute where the guy was describing how the woman had been murdered, including some horrible mutilation of her genital area. And he walked in. He walked into the kitchen as I'm chopping up vegetables, listening to this podcast. And he went, what the hell have I walked in on? I don't want to listen to that rubbish. He looked at me like I was like really weird. I was like, it's just my podcast, darling. Just listen to my podcast.
Yes.
Mommy's just listening to her show. I got
That's
like
why I
my
use
gin
my
and
headphones.
tonic next to me.
Yes. I always have
Cutting
my headphones on.
vegetables
Oh my
while
God.
I
If
was
my
listening to
family
her
knew,
show.
yeah, what I was listening to, oh man, they'd send me right to the loony bin. Not okay. Crazy. I don't even know why I listen to things that I hate all of it. And I like can't stop. It's like watching a train wreck. I like cannot get enough. I think COVID's just taken my brain in weird directions, you know? Entertainment. Yeah. So do you have any more for us, or is that conclude? Because that was a lot.
Those
I mean, my cup is full, so you don't have to
those
feel
are my
any
stories.
That was
Those are my most recent.
Oh, Ginger, they were so good.
They were really, really good. Will you definitely come on again? Can you like store up another batch of stories for us? Because we would really like.
Do you know
to
what I
have
would
you.
love for you to do, Ginger? Is to try and get some photographic evidence.
Yeah, I'll have to do that. And I'll have to continue to look for that photo that I have.
Is there like a webcam that you can like just keep rolling?
Oh, no, I thought about that. I actually thought about getting like a trail cam.
I don't even know what's a trail cam. Is that like a webcam?
It's what hunters use. They put it out in the woods so they can like see
just
like animal activity where they
Can you just put it like in the where it stands in the kitchen?
In the hallway? Like put it towards I'll try. See what happens.
Does it not? It doesn't scare you? Like for real?
No.
Were you ever, when did you first start seeing ghosts?
Oh my gosh.
Were you a child?
I can't remember. Like when the first
forever
time it's yeah.
Did you see them in your house growing up?
I don't think I saw them. I think I felt them. I felt them a lot. I didn't really start seeing them really well until maybe, I don't know, in my 20s.
Oh, okay.
Started seeing them, but I've always kind of knew they were there. I used to play in the woods when I was a kid, and I used to pretend like there were like fairies everywhere, and I would go out in the woods and play with my little fairies and my woodland.
What do you mean pretend? Of course they're there.
Yeah.
Where did you grow? Where was that? Where did you grow up?
I grew up right outside of Charlotte. It was in a little country town. We had like one stoplight, little farming kind of community.
Mm-hmm.
Whereabouts? What state's that?
North Carolina.
North Carolina still, yeah. And I was surrounded by woods. I played by the creek all the time, and that was just my childhood. I was alone. I was the youngest. I was the only girl. All my cousins that lived around me were all boys, so I was never allowed to like play with them or hang out with them because I was I played in the woods a lot by myself.
This is not related to ghosts, but they're my other ghost, which is snakes. Did you see a lot of snakes when you're by creeks in North Carolina? Because I literally won't go in the woods in the summer.
When I was a kid, I remember seeing one when I was a kid and just walking through the woods. I saw in the path that I was walking on, but I kind of knew what kind of snake it was, and I knew it wasn't like poisonous or anything. So I just like let it go past me, and then I just kept going.
You just saw one?
When I was a kid, I remember one.
That's it?
Around the house, my brother used to bring like black snakes home and tried to talk my mom into keeping them. She's like, get that thing away from me.
They're so gross and so big.
Yeah, I'm not a snake. I'm not a snake fan at all. But I've seen a few here around the house, like gardening and doing stuff outside. A few little ones.
I don't like the idea of that. I'm scared enough of slugs. Slugs are like tiny snakes. They're like this is a snake that's only 2 inches long.
But snakes like bite you and poison you. Slugs just slug on you. They don't do anything.
When I was little, and if I saw slugs on the path, I'd have to get my dad to pick me up and carry me over them because I was so scared.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they move really slow though.
Yeah, you can just move around them.
I'm scared of them. And even now when I see them, I'm a bit like, oh, you creep me out. It's like weird.
They are pretty disgusting.
They are weird.
They are weird.
And they're not even poisonous or slithery or fast like a snake. Can you imagine me in North Carolina?
Oh my God.
No, but they're slimy and sticky and gross.
They are.
They're like just weird.
Thick-bodied. Yeah, they are super weird.
I think as well that I was always worried that I would stand on one without realizing and squish it. There was always that fear that I would squidge one and it would be like a squidgy You know, like those squidgy sweeties that you got.
Yeah, you would.
Stop
You
laughing
would.
at me. She's like, oh my God,
Like,
Lucy.
can I edit this one?
Yeah. Can you imagine the sound it would make if you stepped on it?
Oh, oh no. You haven't even been
Sorry.
drinking.
I actually did one time. It was awful.
Oh.
Last year, I was outside my house and I was standing in the step at the back door, and I heard a crunch and I went, what the hell was that? And I lifted my foot, and what had happened was I'd stood on a snail, but the snail's shell had crunched and broken into all tiny pieces. But the body, this is so sad, guys. This bit's gonna have to be left in.
No.
It's not, don't worry.
No. Okay.
The body of the snail had been pushed out of the body and between two slats of the wood of my back step. So it was still alive because it was in between the wood, and its shell had been totally crushed, and the poor snail's head was like poking out from the slats of the wood going like this. Help me. And I was like, what am I going to do? And Sasha was like, well, you've killed its shell. You're going to have to finish the job. And I was like, I can't kill an animal. That's awful. And he's like, just stand on it. And I was like, I can't. The poor thing was like waving its antennae, looking super sorry for itself.
Oh my God.
And so all I could do was get a really big stone and put the stone over it. Yeah, because I had to put it out of its misery, but I was really struggling with doing that because it was this, I felt like I'd killed it.
No, poor snail.
And you killed
Yeah,
it.
so I think that's kind of why I'm a little bit freaked out by slugs, because I feel like if I stand on them by accident, I'm gonna see this squidged animal that I know I've killed. It's like all yeah.
That's what would happen.
Yeah,
it's true.
I know. Carrots. Usually I'm not the one that speaks the bullshit. It's usually this one over here.
What? What do you mean? No bullshit. We have to end this because I don't edit the YouTube versions, and this is gonna go on for 100 years.
Oh my God! Yeah, I forgot that.
I'm not editing
all
that
of this
out.
is on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Yeah. So can we just stop? We can still hang out after, but we need to spare these poor listeners.
Nobody watches us on YouTube.
Okay, that's true. That's actually a really good point. Okay.
Okay.
Well, anyways,
so
Ginger,
let's wrap it up.
Yes. Thank you, and please come back again and again and again. Yes. We love having you on. We love it. So
I love being here. I love hanging out with you guys. You guys are fun.
Yeah,
and I'm hanging out with you guys. Yeah, when I'm listening to you in the car going to work and everything, when I'm listening, I feel like I'm hanging out with you anyway. You just can't hear me talking back.
We know you're there. We know.
Yeah, I'm always
we
there.
We do. We appreciate
you
sense
so much. Your presence.
We do.
You're part of the fourth dimension.
Yes. We can smell you.
I'm there in spirit. Smell me.
I can taste you in my mouth.
Ew. And on that disgusting note, we will see you maybe next week.
Yes.
Okay, bye.
Bye.